running as fast as I can.
It's just not very good, is it? T-Swizzle's discography crested with Speak Now in 1989, albums with no bullshit type good pop songs that worm within the divots of our ears and have refused to come out ever since. Her music always has good hooks, that's the good thing. They're catchy. That's it. On Speak Now, things felt sincere, emotive, without any needless snark. Even when her public life as a terabyte-sized celebrity started to bleed into her songwriting, on 1989 it wasn't a distraction from any of the songs, even on the anthemic cheerleading fanfare Shake It Off. That song was by design very cheeky and fun, so I didn't mind that the bridge regressed into this mocking, snarky bridge about her exes. In fact, that's my favourite part of the song. No matter what personal drama or breakup inspires a Swiftie song, she was relatively mature in how she went about it, at least when it came to word choice or being concise, which is why I was annoyed by Reputation, not because of its edgier, more anti-hero, Rouge the Bat-esque reimagining of her character in music, but rather because of how she went about this. I don't actually give a shit about the whole snake thing, the Kanye drama. Honestly, I remember more details about the font of the school tuck shop menu that year than I do whatever happened back then with that whole, I don't know. Which is why I was annoyed that so much of the album was specifically leaning towards that. Also, a lot of the songs sounded like shit, which didn't help, but we all slip on the wet footpath every once in a while. It's about our attitude once we get back up. Lover isn't inherently bad, adopting mainly a retro-visioned 80s synth pop sound, but Taylor Swift isn't the kind of songwriter that's able to keep me engaged for a full hour. I promise if I had to converse with one of you for an hour, I'd be very willing to listen, granted that you're not speaking any lyrics on the level of Me or London Boy, songs that are actually quite embarrassing to read the lyrics off, this rose petal covered vision of London town and all the stereotypes that come with it, and the other that sounds like it was meant for CBeebies, and then you throw Brendan Urie in there, and the marching band, and it just gives me the aura of a school theatre production, but one that's still rehearsing. And then I read the lyrics and it's like, yeah, that's definitely it. You can't spell awesome without me. Easy target, I know, but why put the target there in the first place? This could be her least maturely written album to date. Stories that sound like they were adapted straight from children's fairy tales, pop culture references like power moves, attempts to wink at social consciousness like on You Need to Calm Down. It's corny, it's contrived, it sounds like a giant joke that goes on for far too long. At some point she says something like, our songs, our films, united we stand, our country, I reckon was a lawless land, and it's like, okay, cheers. Where's the... Well, the songs themselves melodically are sugar to the ears, but I'm just not a fan of the personalities that's surfing them. I don't actually think I've ever found Swift to be much of a commanding personality in the first place. When she sings, it's like she's just there. So you have this voice, right? And it's just spilling out the most asinine lyrics. If I were a man, I'd be the man. Yeah. Kudos to the skippity boom clap rhythm on Paper Rings and the busier butterflies in the stomach instrumental of Death by a Thousand Cuts that attempts to inject a bit of a heartbeat into this album in spite of the reigning futility. The title track is a slow waltz that limps on by like a Christmas tree being dragged across the concrete. Not long after is the combat-ready self-empowerment anthem The Archer, which is what I imagine to be an experiment in seeing how long you can keep a pre-chorus going on for, and the answer is fucking ever. There are moments where Swift's voice has spikes of real anguish in it, and it gets me excited for this climax that just never arrives. So I decided, okay, so this song is all build-up. I know a lot of songs that do that. Let's listen to it again in a couple of days, reset my expectations, and I'll see if I like it then. I re-listened, and somehow it got worse. Half the song spends its time floating in the ether with no driving force, so by the time the pulsing kick drum shows up for the second half, I genuinely don't even care. Swizzle pulls old tricks out of the dusty magic bag, like the lovesick sighing ballads as she ahs her way through the title track and Afterglow, as well as returning to her folky roots for Soon You'll Get Better. Moves that don't sound inherently bad, but are just boring to hear again. They pad out this hour and make it even more of a snooze. This whole album is a bit of a snooze. Now, I know my feelings may have been rather ambiguous up until this point, but I don't really think I like this album very much. It's the kind of thing I might give a 3 out of 10. It made me miss Reputation. Reputation was at least bold. It had a very strange, chaotic change in personality, and also had a bit more of a backbone. If you're convinced at this point that I went into Lover trying to dislike it, then I can't really blame you. I did dislike it, but to tell you the truth, I was optimistic that on the songwriting and conceptual front, Swift would act a lot smarter. After all, she spent a while in London, hasn't she?